Hello World. On behalf of Ferguson USA, HotTalkRadio.com, the United Minority Media Association, Inc., UMA, KCOG, and on behalf of all the veterans, we're celebrating not only Veteran Day, a week, a month, which was November 11th, but also we're celebrating American Indian Month. And what we want to do, we keep talking about on the behalf of another segment, is the Remembrance and Dialogue in the memory of Teresa Bresky, a Miami Indian, Harry Rees, Cherokee Indian, and Rosalind King Brown, a freeman out of Muskogee, Oklahoma. We're very happy to bring this show for all the nation, all the world to listen to. And also, we have, by podcasting, we have 7 nations listen: YouTube, Facebook, Apple TV, smartphone, and iPhone. And we'd like to, at this time, introduce a person who's going to co-host, and I hope he's on the air with us. That is Mr. Lamar Vickers. Do we have other people on the line also, Mr. Folks?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Who all do we have on the air with us?
Benny Foster.
Okay. Who else? Do we have Mr. R, folks? Okay, let me try that again.
Yes, sir.
Do we have who all do we have on the line?
I was waiting on you to call me, I'm saying.
Okay, okay. Go ahead, other people. You have all the numbers, right?
Yes, sir.
And I did what you said. I have Mr. Kenny Foster on the line with us. So you call the other people and we're ready to go.
Okay, called right now.
Who all do we have on the line with us? Mr. Foster, we got you, right? I don't understand this.
We ain't hearing.
Who all do we have on the line with us?
Sounds like we're having a little bit of technical difficulty, folks. Please stand by.
We have you, Mr. Folks, on the line?
Oh,
Yes. Okay. Well, I hear you, but it was another person supposed to be on the line with us.
I can hear you much better now.
Okay, Mr. Foster?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Howard Folks? Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
We got Miss Williams and Lamar.
Okay, you got the numbers for the other people, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, that's while you try to get them, we'll go ahead and start the show, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Owens, are we ready?
We are on. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, world. On behalf of Ferguson USA, HotTalkRadio.com, the United Minority Media Association, Inc., also KCOG, and all the veterans in the world, we salute you and thank you for your service. Now, just before we introduce our co-hosts, we'll go to our segment of remembrance and dialogue. This show is dedicated to Miss Teresa Brasky of the Miami Indian Tribe, Mr. Harry Reeves of the Cherokee Indian Nation, and also Mrs. Rosalind King Brown of Freeman out of Muskogee, Oklahoma. And this is a show that will be reaching via YouTube, Facebook, Apple TV, smartphone, iPhone, and our podcasts are representing 7 different nations. And I'll take this time now to introduce to Mr. Lamar Vickers. Lamar, are you there? Mr. Lamar Vickers is our co-host for today.
I'm here.
Okay. Thank you for answering up this late. Okay. Now, what we want you to do, you gotta tell them who you are. You got an event coming up on September the 17th, and then we'll go into the show. Okay.
September 17th. Okay, thank you. On November 17th, which is this Wednesday, 6 o'clock, Southeast Community Center, we'll be holding our next town hall meeting. The topic of discussion is the redistricting. As you know, for anyone who doesn't know, every 10 years there's a redistricting that happens, and it's based on the census and the voter reports. And this year we've been very active in trying to express the concerns and the things that the community and neighborhood want out of this process.
I see.
And
okay.
So this Wednesday we'll be furthering that discussion.
Okay, that's in Southeast Community Center in Kansas City, Missouri. Now,
Yes.
we have our veteran, I'm a veteran too, but a young lady who is a veteran, was in the Air Force, Miss Karen Williams. Are you there, Karen?
Yes, I am.
Tell the people about you yourself. What made you decide to go into the Air Force instead of the Navy?
Well, I went into the Air Force because it was the best opportunity I could find. And it served me well.
What did you do in the Air Force?
Well, I was one of the first 100 women they allowed into the Air Force under a test program for women in combat. So in 1976 and 1977, we were trained for combat. It was a test program. There were 100 women from all over the United States, and we went through all the air-based ground defense. We went through all the weaponry training, everything that we would have needed. We stayed out in the woods and the mountains at Camp Bullis in Texas, and lived out there. If anybody has seen the show MASH with the tents and the potbelly stoves in the middle, that's how we lived. And it was quite an interesting experience. It was a real interesting experience. And I enjoyed that.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you again for your service. I don't know if we have Miss Marilyn Van on the area, Mr. Kenneth Ford.
You gave me the wrong number for her.
For her number is 45720
Oh, you said 4, okay.
6817.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now, we do have a gentleman representing the Navajo Nation in Arizona. Mr. Foster, are you on the line with us? Lenny Foster? Well, Lenny Foster, number is 480-369-2350. Yeah, I did. Let me call him again. Mr. Foster, we keep missing, but I wanted you to tell people who you are, and I was supposed to add to my little monologue the naval, let me take that back, I was in the Navy, the Native American tribe that was the one broke the code was either World War I or World War II. Do you know, you have any knowledge of that?
Yes, my father was one of the Navajo code talkers.
Okay.
They were very famous during, made the Navajo code the Japanese couldn't break during the World War II in the South Pacific.
Boy, I'm happy to you to tell me that, and for your father being a Navajo, and you are with the Navajo Nation. You told me that. Yes. And where are you located, sir?
I'm in St. Michael, Arizona, on the Navajo Reservation, northeast Arizona.
Okay. And we spoke the other day because you got, well, we're probably going to have to do an additional show with you on there about Mr. Peltier. A lot of people might not be cognizant who he is and what is the situation that he's in.
Yes. I'll be willing to do so.
Go ahead, sir. Tell us.
Oh, okay. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me to the radio show. My name is Lenny Foster. I'm a Kiahani, born for Tsetani, and my Chades are Upahe, and my Nalis are Enagani, which is translated to English, a Townhouse clan, born for Mountain Coat, and my maternal grandparents are River Edge, and my paternal grandparents are one who walks around. That's how I introduce myself. We're given those instructions as a Dene person to always listen to us when we use our language to introduce ourselves. And I'm Leonard Peltier's spiritual advisor. I've been his spiritual advisor since 1985 in March, which is 36 years. My primary responsibilities as a spiritual advisor was to lead Mr. Peltier in prayer, swillat ceremonies, pipe ceremonies, and just visit him to sustain his sanity and humanity. Leonard Peltier at this time has been incarcerated over 45 years. He's 77 years old. He's of Lakota, Dakota, Anishinaabe ancestry from Turtle Mountain, North Dakota. And he was alleged to have participated in a firefight with the FBI in South Dakota on the Pine Ridge Reservation in June 26, 1975. And he was alleged to have participated in a firefight which resulted in the death of 2 FBI agents. He was charged with that, and he didn't receive a fair trial. Many violations resulted in his trial. His constitutional rights were violated, and as a result, he was railroaded right into the United States federal prison for the last, where he's been incarcerated for the last 45 years. And he's not doing so well at this time. His health is deteriorating. He's suffering from diabetes. He has a case of extreme aorta aneurysm that seems to be progressing, and he needs immediate medical attention. He needs to be outdoors to get fresh air, to walk around. But he's been confined to a cell that's very, very small right there at the United States Penitentiary, Coleman, Florida. It's a Supermax facility, and we've been working on his behalf, trying to get him released. At this time, there are some efforts being made by his support committee, including attorney Kevin Sharp. Carol Goki is the director of the Leonard Peltier Defense Committee. As I mentioned, our brother Leonard is a political prisoner. He's United States' foremost political prisoner, and we want him released and return home to Turtle Mountain, Chippewa Reservation in North Dakota. And I met Leonard Peltier in Denver, Colorado, 51 years ago, in 1970. I sundanced with him at Crow Dog's Paradise in August of 1975. That's almost 46 years ago. Yeah, I know him as a spiritual person. He's very talented, very intelligent, extremely brilliant. He's a self-taught artist. Many of his paintings are in the possession of some well-known people, and he's a traditional person, as I mentioned. He's a grandfather, great-grandfather, and he's a support for many, many people, including the late Nelson Mandela, the Dalai Lama, Desmond Tutu, Rigoberto Menchú, Robert Redford, Val Kilmer, Santana, as some of the people that have supported him. There's 2 recent resolutions that have been submitted to Biden administration, and one is Congress people that have signed on to request that President Biden grant executive clemency for Leonard, and also there's another resolution that recently was submitted, signed by Native American legislatures, including House of Representatives from North Dakota, South Dakota, Arizona, Oklahoma, and Minnesota, and so that's demonstrates the seriousness, also the support that Leonard has for his bid to be released on executive clemency. And we feel that after 45 years, he certainly is eligible for release. on executive clemency.
Mr. Leonard Foster, this is such an important matter, and we'll just ask you now to bring you back next Saturday, and if you can connect us with the numbers, phone numbers of other influential people or people who knew him, to do the whole show, at least 3/4 of the show, on November the 20th. Now, we want you, don't go anywhere, we also have some other people on. Do we have Miss Marilyn Van or Kenneth Ford on the line yet?
Okay,
No, just stay and listen.
I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm at home and
Okay.
Isolation, very comfortable, taking it easy. So I appreciate your invitation, and I'll wait. We waited 45, 46 years. So what's another 2 weeks?
Okay, no problem. Mr. Folks, do we have any other people on the line with us? We're looking for Miss Marilyn Van, who got a very prestigious position with the Cherokee Nation, which is the headquarters in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and Mr. Kenneth Ford, who's an iron worker, and he heads up the Freedom Organization of Greater Kansas City, and he and another iron worker are creating an organization to get more trade people involved and also contractors. And one thing about it, they used to say that a lot of Native Americans were iron workers because they didn't have any fear of heights. Now, do we have those other people on the line with us as of yet? The people we do have on the line, go ahead and talk until we can reach the other people. Miss Williams, are you still with us? Mr. Lamar, are you still with us? Hold on. Who do you have on the line with you, sir?
I got everybody. We just been waiting on you.
There's something with my strategy of this phone. I thought I had. Well, continue.
I got Miss Van, I got Lamar, and Mr. Ford.
Okay, Miss Marilyn Van from Oklahoma City, tell us about the things you have done and the prestigious position the Cherokee Nation got you in now.
Well, earlier this year, I ran for the Cherokee Nation Tribal Council, and I did not win. I came in third out of 8 with 22% of the vote. And so there had not been a black to serve on the council since about 1900. But in September, I was appointed by the principal chief and the tribal council to serve on the Environmental Protection Commission of the Cherokee Nation. And there hasn't been a black who has, I don't believe in the Cherokee Nation, who has ever served on a board or some kind of a commission. And it is a first.
Yes, ma'am, that's awesome.
Congratulations, Miss Van. This is Kenneth Ford, and I think I sent you something over the line. Congratulations, but still, it's I'm old school, so I just have to say congratulations vocally to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. This has been a busy year.
Well, my name is Al Folks from the Chamber of Commerce, and we also congratulate you because one of the things that we need black folks in power positions Well, they can see that we need somebody at the table, okay, that can speak for us. And congratulations.
Well, thank you. Yes, too long people of African ancestry have not been at the table, both within and without and outside of the tribe. So, some people give up, but you just have to keep pushing. As I said, this has been a busy year. I testified up in Congress in July. Chairman Maxine Waters, before her subcommittee that is chaired by Honorable Cleaver, and I don't believe that any of the Freedmen tribal members, the Black Freedmen tribal members, had testified before any kind of a House or Senate committee, since Oklahoma statehood. So, this was also something new, so the things are going. Another thing that myself as president of the Descendants of Freedmen Association, we've been trying to get these treaties enforced. And so finally, after a lot of pushing, going to Washington, meeting with Indian Health Service and the like, the Black Seminole Freedmen tribal members, a letter came out that they can go to the Indian Health Service clinics and hospitals, as well as those by the tribes. Although the Bureau of Indian Affairs had put out a letter several years ago saying that people were entitled to these kinds of rights, the tribe just did everything it could to block that.
Tell about the 5 tribes and the different Indian nations, and they have a museum in Muskogee. And I probably tried to tell that at first when we first opened the show, but a person who knows everything about the things that she's done, I've been knowing Miss Van for X amount of years, have visited with her, she visited with us, so tell us, our audience who might not be cognizant of all the 5 nations you were in charge of.
Well, the Descendants of Freedmen of the 5 Tribes Association, as well as the African Indians of the 5 Tribes Foundation, these are nonprofits that I'm the president of, and both of them have been in existence for almost 20 years. One's a 501c3, one is a 501c4. And the 5 tribes are former slaveholding tribes. That's the Cherokee, Creek, Seminole, Choctaw, and Chickasaw nations. Now, at the end of the Civil War, because these tribes fought with the Confederacy, as a part of the Confederacy, largely to keep black people in chains, at the end of the war, they had to make new treaty agreements with the United States, dealing with the rights of the freedmen. Now, the Cherokee, Creek, and Seminole Nation in those treaties, the freedmen people, these blacks who were, most of them had been enslaved prior to the Civil War. Some of them were not, most of them being people of mixed African Indian ancestry, were granted full citizenship rights. The Choctaw and Chickasaw tribes, they had the right to adopt these blacks or not, and if so, they would get money from the federal government. So those are who the tribes are. And so as the tribes became more wealthy, more powerful, they eventually started putting the blacks out, or keeping the blacks as second-class citizens in the tribe. So I was a litigant on a couple of federal lawsuits that went over several years until this dealing with the Cherokee Nation, until finally the federal judge in D.C. he banged the gavel and said that the tribe had to couldn't discriminate against the freedmen, had to start registering freedmen again, these kind of things like this. So this is a history that these tribes and the 5 tribes are some of the larger tribes in the United States by far. All Oklahoma-based, have really tried to push down how badly blacks in the tribes have been treated and what's going on right now. But newspapers are starting to really, hit some covers, the New York Times, some of the others, about these black people dying because they've been barred from clinics. They're members of tribes.
Okay, and don't go anywhere, Ms. Fan, but also for your knowledge, Mr. R, folks, Maxine Waters, if you didn't know, is a native from St. Louis.
No, she actually grew up in Kinloch, Missouri, which is one of the oldest black communities in the state of Missouri.
There's something else we want to do with Jennifer Lewis from Kinloch once we can make contact with her. But on the same token, we're talking about freedmen. Mr. Kenneth Ford, tell us about the freedmen, what you head up, and also about you and another arm worker would like to start and organize in Kansas City, but not limited to Kansas City. And you will be happy to partner with you on that. So, Mr. Ford, tell us about that.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, inviting me in. I appreciate it. I'm the president, founder, and the director of the Descendant Freedmen Alliance of Kansas City. And we were taking our many of our things from Ms. Van. We work with all 5 of the civilized tribes, even though my family is Creek, and I started off looking at my history and my family. And we were Creek, there's Cherokee, Seminoles, and Choctaw, and Chickasaw. And so our organization, Descendant Freedmen Alliance of Kansas City, you can find it at the dfakc.org is our website. And I try to keep it updated as much as possible since we're not meeting as much. I take a lot of I sat at the feet of Miss Van for many months, going to her meetings and her organizational meetings in Oklahoma whenever I could make it, and learning as much as I can about this history, this rich history. And so she mentioned her being on going for the council, and the Creek Indian Nation freedmen have been noted for a long time for being part of the council, part of the Supreme Court in the Creek Nation. I just did one article on Harry Island, who was one of the interpreters and for the Creeks when they went to Congress to negotiate tribal deals and constitutional deals. And they hated Harry Island because he was always one that, even though he spoke up for the Creek Nation, he always made sure that the freedmen also benefited from whatever the Congress, whatever topics they were covering. So our organization is 501c3. We're about the awareness, first of all, and the education about the Creek freedmen and all the freedmen tribes. And so, like I say, we're excited about bringing everyone in. We've been helpful in trying to start other organizations across the country of freedmen and getting young people involved. A lot of young people that are catching fire for this history, and they have the tools, the technology to put these things in place, put certain things in place to help us get the message out and let people know about the freedmen cause and the freedmen history.
Well, if you just tune in, you listen to a special broadcast on Guess Who's Coming to Kansas City. We also are celebrating American Indian Month. That's one we established a few years ago, and we also are saluting and thank you for your service, all veteran. And we have Miss Williams on that. Can anyone, Mr. Foster, you still with us? That you with the Navajo Nation, the things you've done, and we're going to do a special show on you and all the people who support Mr. Leonard Patel, Leonard Patel. And we also know that North Dakota, the got some time, but we appreciate you bringing all this valuable information to our listeners, and hopefully we can get new listeners, and out of which we're looking for sponsors. We need more shows, and this is our way of communication, getting more people involved who might not be, might not know. And so we open the show now for any other person who would like to say something or add something. Don't everybody jump at one time. It's open.
I would like to just this is Kenneth Ford again, and I just would like to say that speaking more about the freedmen on the hearing that Ms. Van mentioned that she had been part of, that she had shared, was called the NAHASTA. It's a Native American housing hearing, and they were crying about, because what we're trying to do is attach the money to they don't get the housing if they don't bring the freedmen in, and so they were trying to cry about how we can't take the money from the Indians, but the tribes have been denying and declining the black freedmen for centuries, for generations for sure, of this money. They've been getting money for over 20 years and denying us any of this money. So if you're going to cry about anything, we need to cry about the black freedmen who've been denied for the past several generations for this kind of money. So we want everyone to call in if you can. Call Miss Waters' office. Let them know. Let the congressional people know that you support this cause for the freedmen. I know it's been on the back burner with all the billions of dollars of infrastructure money that the president is pushing. But this is going to come up in a committee meeting soon about the NAHASTA and the freedmen money. We want you to get on the line and call your congressman and tell them that you support the freedmen part of the NAHASTA money.
I want to thank you, Mr. Ford, for bringing that up. It's very important that people out here that support justice, oppose apartheid, that they get on those phones and they call. I thank Brother Ford here that when sometimes we need people to make calls on a short notice. Him and the good people in Kansas City have just really jumped on it. Because the thing is, things do not change unless Washington, D.C. gets involved. And that means the courts, that means members of Congress. And yes, you have some wonderful members of Congress that they are really for justice. They are really for civil rights. And I mean like Mr. Cleaver, Chairman Waters. Of course, there are some others, and I'm talking about people of different parties, people of different races, but there are some others that they only are looking for who's going to pay them the most, and that's all they care about. But if they get pushed by the voters in their district, or at least in their state, then sometimes they'll hesitate to just only do the thing that'll make them the most money.
You was talking about other people, you and Mr. Kenneth Ford, and when you do speak, say who you are, they might not be cognizant because maybe they just tune in, but also we have an organization here that's ready to jump on that and assist, called KCOG. Do we have our two members on the phone that you can tell the people who you are and why you came into existence?
Oh, this is Marilyn Van that just now talked. Sorry, folks. Marilyn Van, president of the Descendants of Freedmen of the Five Tribes Association, Cherokee citizen.
All right. Well, this is Karen Williams. I am second vice president to KCOG, and our first vice president, I believe, is on this call as well. But we are KCOG out of Kansas City, Missouri, keeping community on guard. Our job is to make sure that our our community are aware of what the people in the big house are doing, so that they don't miss out on things. You know, there's so many resources, there's so many programs, there's so much going on out in the communities, or I should say in various places that our people don't know anything about. So we hold live town hall meetings. You know, we put the word out, we put flyers out, we talk to the community, we find out where their needs are. We do food giveaways at various churches weekly. Lamar can speak to that because he's very, very much involved in that. Lamar, are you still there? Well,
Mr. Lamar, Vickers, I know you. Wake up, it's time for you to talk.
Lamar's getting ready for tomorrow's game, I think. This can afford it. Lamar might be out trying to get ready for the game.
Yeah.
He was here a while ago.
Yeah, he was. But Lamar, he bounces from place to place. We're involved with different food giveaway programs at various churches, and we help and we support those different places. And while that's going on, for example, on every other Thursday, we are at like Mount Sinai Baptist Church here in Kansas City. And while he's outside helping passing out food, I'm inside sitting with people, helping them get registered for the COVID-19 relief packages for rental assistance and utility assistance. You know,
He's back.
Lamar's back.
Yeah.
You know, so you know that's something else that we do too. But Lamar, I was just telling them about the churches that we work with that besides Mount Sinai, we go to help with their food programs and other things that we do with that.
Yeah, we help with Mount Sinai. We help with Morning Star. We help with Unity Southeast, and as it turns out, they say we've been doing this for 90-something weeks since March, the third week of March, 2020.
Didn't even realize it.
Didn't even realize.
That's how much fun you've been having, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But you know, even like with the program, with the resources for the rental assistance and the utilities, not only do we see them at the church, but we also have a relationship with the public library. So we use their resources as well. I take people up to the library and help them also sign up for assistance. To go to people's homes and help them sign up for assistance. Getting ready to have a meeting next week with Operation Outreach because I understand that there's people over there that need help. And they have the space to set up many laptops. So, you know, with the library's help and the use of their laptops, that, you know, I can do a whole lot of people at once. You know, so, yes.
And I tell you, I'd like to say to everybody that she's being modest and gracious. All of those places that she named and all the things that she just said, she's doing it single-handedly.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But the need is so great out there, you know, and I didn't realize until I got involved so heavily with it that, you know, I mean, I've had people crying, you know, showing me they're going to turn my electricity off tomorrow, you know. So then I learned of people, and now I've got contacts on the outside. Lamar's aware we had this one elderly woman who just got out of the hospital, had a $2,000 light bill. I just had to make one phone call, and that woman's lights were not cut off that day at all. As a matter of fact, they're paying her light bill for the next 6 months.
All right.
You know, so these are the things that we do. And when you're actually out there in the trenches talking to the people and hearing what their needs are, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. But that's what KCOC is all about. We let the people know that we're here, that, you know, we're there for them. We need for them to know what's going on. Like I said, in the big house, downtown, and in D.C., that the things that are going to affect them, and that does include voting, and that does take care of the census as well. It's our job to make sure they understand how important it is and the benefits that come from it.
Well, another partnership you guys have will be establishing is with the Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce with our folks. But I wanted, Kenneth, we talked about different things. We didn't cover a lot of good subjects this afternoon. Also, we got started with the Navajo Nation. But Kenneth, tell us about what you and Ray Malone are putting together, because I think this is something that is long overdue. And I want you to call Elise Martini. She is the business person for the Greater Kansas City Building and Construction Trade Union. And her number is 816-836-8485. Tell her I asked you to call and tell her what you're putting together and see how we can work together. She is the acting secretary for the United Minority Media Association. It was something else. Can you just tell us what that's all about? Why is there a need for that?
Well, I'll tell you, I appreciate it. You know, as the word says, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. But what we're doing is organizing an organization that's able that consists of minority tradesmen who are retirees. There exists a community of us now that have retired, been through it, have been there, done that, and successfully. And now we want to put ourselves in place to help address and redress the lack of retention of minority skilled tradespeople in the construction industry. As I drive around and look around a lot of these projects, big projects, small projects, I see very few minorities on there. And one of our organizing members is a photographer. He's a retired iron worker also, but he's a photographer that is hired by a lot of these construction companies, and he goes around the country taking pictures. And he backs it up. He says that, you know, he just does not see very many minorities. He sees more women in and very few men in these trades. And so the statistics bear it out. When you look at the construction industry, it's about 82% white, 30% Latinos, Mexicans, and 6% black. So that's paltry, you know, over the last 40, 50 years. And so what I'm putting together is a group of us who are able to everybody's trying to bridge the gap. What we're going to do is kind of tunnel under. We're going to build a tunnel that's going to reach to the heart and to the minds of people. That I think the white people have been able to put money in there and make programs and things, but it still is not retaining the blacks. So what we're trying to do is reach from the heart, the compassion, and when black people, apprentices, and young people in the trade can see and meet and talk to someone like myself who's been there, who's had 30 plus years as an iron worker or in the construction trade and has been successfully there, I think that speaks to their heart a lot more than just somebody telling you what they think you can do. And so we're organizing, we're putting it together. And so now with the infrastructure money coming along, it's going to need the minorities need to take a greater hand in it. So I appreciate any help that you can give us. And I will touch base with Ms. Martini and get it going.
Well, tell the people how you can be reaching. What trades are you specifically talking about?
We're talking about the heavy trades primarily, but all trades.
Well, list them. What are the names?
Of course, I'm an iron worker. There are operators, there's the pipe fitters, there are plumbers, electricians, carpenters, glazers, all kind of trades that people that don't have to go, that may not be bound for college, can go to a trade school. They can earn while they learn. Go to 4-year apprenticeships. Now those apprenticeships now college credits. Now they're making money while they're learning, so they're able to take care of families. their job ladders where they can move up from just being apprentices to foremen to hopefully our goal is hopefully put people in place to be contractors. Also at the top of the realm, I picked up an Ironworker magazine the other day, and all the heavy hitters, the top of the realm is still a lily white organization, and so we just want to get more blacks in there and help them to stay in. That's our main thing, is to help them stay in. We're working also with the Builders, Kansas City Builders Association Training Center. And so the guy that's headed that now, I remember when he was a young apprentice, excuse my language, a young apprentice just starting in. He's the head guy over there. And so he's offered us some space and different things to help us get it going. And so their job is, of course, with recruitment and training, but our job is going to be to help them stay and be able to navigate the ins and outs, the ups and downs of dealing with, the racism and the stuff you have to deal with every day, just by being black.
How can you be reached?
My number is 816-674-8510. That's 674-8510. You can reach me, and we can talk about it.
Okay, once again, we about out of time, and I said we're going to do another special, Mr. Lenny Foster of the Navajo tribe, and about Leonard Peltier, to do that next week. And some other interested people, and I know that our Miss Gail Cheatham called me right before, and she's very knowledgeable about, she's with the Kickapoo Nation. And thank you for listening in, Miss Gail, and we talked about several things. But if you could, our people that was on the show today, if you have a number where you can be reached, tell the people now. One at a time.
KCLG 816-715-2964. And also, Kenneth, very interested in working with you. We'll be contacting you. I'm very interested in that.
All right, sounds good, Lamar. You having a watch party tomorrow?
No.
Oh, man. All right, I'll catch up with you.
Okay.
Well, this is Kenneth Ford. My number is 816-674-8510. You can also reach me through the Descendant Treatment Alliance of Kansas City website, which is dfakc.org.
Okay, Miss Van, Miss Williams, Mr. Foster, Mr. Folks.
Okay, this is Marilyn Van, Descendants of Freedmen website, www.freedmen5, that's the number 5, tribes.com. Also, Descendants of Freedmen Facebook page, phone number 405-227-9810.
And I have the same phone number as Lamont, the KCOG.
And our folks will do that Chamber of Commerce, and you can reach me at our folks at yahoo.com. That's FOWLKS at yahoo.com.
Mr. Foster? Well, Mr. Foster is a Arapaho, so we got his father's part of the Indian nation that cracked the code, or broke the code in World War II against the Japanese, but we need to get him on to crack his code so he can tell us how he can be reached. He will be on the show next week. And my name is MC Richardson, the host, and I'm chairman of the United Minority Media Association. We're steady recruiting members like ours, recruiting for the Missouri Black Chamber. And my number is 816-822-8866. And our website, they're putting it up now. It's called UmaKC1.org. And we look forward for you joining us. And with all these organizations that we were fortunate enough to have today, they're looking for helping line, Mr. Iron Folks, you can close us out.
Well, life is good. From Missouri Latino Comrades, listen to Ferguson, USA, HotRadio.com. Thank you so much. We will begin next week with a very, very special program with Mr. Foster. Life is good. Thank you, everyone, for the important show.
And before we close, hopefully, go Chiefs tomorrow night.
Still winning, by the way.
Oh, okay. That's on DirecTV 611. Oh, they win. They beat South Carolina, huh? Okay. And what Georgia did to Tennessee and Alabama did to that team, man. Well, also, the people in St. Louis are still, through Congress, through the right people, wasn't treated fair when they snatched the St. Louis Rams and sent them to California.
Well, right now, the Rams, we about to get, the Rams are about to lose over $1 billion. And right now, we are about to get another expansion team because the NFL is about to lose a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit.
And Mr. Scott Oren, thank you for being our engineer. And I understand you're going to jump down some chimney for your commitment to being a Santa Claus.
Yes, sir. Going to be at the gallery at the St. Louis Galleria from the 19th to the 24th of December. So. And
before we do that, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll have a show right leading up to that. That Thanksgiving is on November the 25th, and we got a special show next Saturday. And be sure to tune in. Don't forget what what Lamar said about their show, the hometown. Well, let me get it right. What is it for next Wednesday?
No, it's the town hall.
Thank you. I couldn't get that out. So goodbye. We're out of here, and I'm gonna watch football and try to do something. But I appreciate all you being on the show, and we'll have continuation. And Miss Merlin Van, you are in a world of your own.